Welcome to Generation Dragons episode 88. Steve, how are you?
Clint, my man, doing well. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. Long time no see. No long
Yeah, it's
time
been.
no record, I should say.
Cheers.
Dink.
Dink. Mm. Yeah, that's true. It's been a while, but I say let's just get right into it and do what we do.
Yeah, so welcome everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you guys waiting for our 88th episode. As per usual, if you like the video and all that good stuff, add a comment and a thumbs up on the video as it helps us help you guys. Yeah, Steve, like you said, you want to get into it. We are a month behind, but here to celebrate the Sega Dreamcast's 25th birthday, which came out September 9th, 1999.
99.
Yes, sir. And yeah, that's so, Steve.
I thought we'd talk about our best experiences in game, almost like a list, but not quite an official list. Best games to us, what we thought of it, hardware, stuff like that. I cut you off a little bit there. You're about to say something.
No, that's pretty much what I was going to say. I know we've touched base on a lot of the Dreamcast stuff in the past, and chatted about all of the good stuff in the past, but you know what, today it's all just coming together. So for me, I want to start off with Shenmue.
First, how did you get it? Because I know there's a great story behind that.
Okay, well, there's two ways. The first time I got it, when I bought it actually, I guess I bought it in October or November of 1999. I used my money from selling a cow in 4-H. I sold a steer and used a couple $100 to buy the game then, or buy the Dreamcast then. Mm-hmm. Through the years, I lent it to a buddy. His brother broke it, and we were never able to fix it and couldn't find another one. And then I met my wife. At the time, she was just my girlfriend. We were talking about stuff, video games, and she's like, "Oh, I've got a Dreamcast." And I was like, "What, really?" She pulls it out from underneath the bed, and
not even being used.
Not even being used. So I knew she was the one, and this was, in high school.
It was a Dreamcast true.
Yeah, that's if there was social media at the time and Sega Dreamcast were still around, it would be a thing for it would be in the official Dreamcast magazine or something.
100%. Right? It'd at least be a post.
Yeah, exactly, right. But yeah, I mean, for me, so I got it, had the demo discs, used to get the magazines when I could, never got it. Oh, actually, no, it's a lie. I did get a subscription, and then I remember at the end of the subscription that they just completely cut off and didn't get any more after that. But yeah,
that sounds too familiar these days.
Yeah, I loved my Dreamcast. Still love my Dreamcast. I have a book back behind. You can't really see it. Stuck here. It's that white. Oh, going the wrong way. There's this one right with the red little dot in my picture. Mm-hmm. It's just like a whole collection of Dreamcast concept art. It's stories from developers across Sega and third parties. All that good stuff. We've talked about before, it's my first console that I purchased. I loved games like Power Stone 2, which is probably one of my favorite games. Power Stone 1, Sega Bass Fishing. The 2K sports games started on the Dreamcast.
I love the commercials for those. Well, Dreamcast commercials in general.
Oh, yeah, they were the best. Looking into the Dreamcast and
pretty much any of that 90s edgy Sega marketing was just awesome at the time.
Oh yeah, 100%. But yeah, Steve, what about you? What's your first memory and what one of your top games?
Top games I'll get into. You got to save your top game for the last because the best. I know you blurted it out already, but you got to save that one for the last. For me, I actually got it free. So I had a pal that would buy things on a whim because he wanted to have the latest and greatest. And then he'd buy all bits and pieces for it, and then something would flip in his mind. He's like, "Yeah, I'm done with it." And he just asked me if I wanted it. And I remember at the time I offered him I don't know, probably $100 or something. Nothing crazy for it. And he's like, nah, just have it. I'm done with it. So I got it, and it came with a mouse and keyboard at the time. It came with the light gun. It came with the modem. Everything built in, and a handful of games. Back then, we rented a lot. So, but yeah, I ended up just getting it on a whim. It was already on its way out by the time I actually got a Dreamcast. I played Dreamcast at friends' places, but when I got my own, it was just given to me on a whim. So.
Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, I mean, have the mouse, which back in the day was called the Rat because it was monstrous.
Mm-hmm. I forgot about that.
I have the keyboard, so I bought the mouse and keyboard so I could play
see my
Unreal.
rat?
Yeah. So I could play Unreal Tournament online using the mouse and keyboard. And then games like Typing of the Dead, which I never actually owned, which I'm very saddened that I never did buy it, but and now it's stupidly expensive. But they had just ridiculous games. Typing of the Dead, Seaman is probably another
I was waiting
one.
to talk about that one. I played that one quite a bit. It was creepy as shit, and it had Leonard Nimoy's voice over all the time, and these freaky fish with their faces.
Yeah. You know
Human
what?
faces on fish.
Yeah, the Dreamcast was something different, as a console. It was way ahead of its time. We've talked about it in past episodes.
I think it's a precursor to the Xbox, and I also think that the only thing that it had wrong was the controller, but the controller was also so awesome because of the VMU units. I love those VM units, but it missed 2 analog sticks because it kind of just didn't have that. That's the only thing I wish it had was a dual analog, and it would have been the absolutely perfect console of its gen.
Yeah,
I would even argue it kind of still is, but the controller was the only thing I would have changed.
Yeah, you know what? It of its generation, it definitely has the downsides of it. I mean, outside of the whole like Sega of America and Sega of Japan not working together, Sega Japan had this idea, Sega of America had this idea, and all like that. What killed it?
Yeah,
them not having the DVD drive in it.
What happened after the Genesis?
Yeah, them not having the DVD drive in it. Yeah, like what PlayStation had, and like you said, the dual analog was a problem. At the time, it wasn't a problem, but it did eventually become because the dual analog was
all
on
first person, third person games. Everything plays with dual.
Yeah,
but if back to my comment there with it. The precursor to the Xbox. The Xbox controllers were very similar to the Dreamcast, but they had the dual analog, but they had the memory units would go where the VMU units went. And then it was a 4-port, just like the Xbox. It was powered by Windows, just like the Xbox. I think the Xbox played with Windows OS or a version of it. But man, I'm pretty sure we've talked about this in the past, how they teamed up and consulted with Microsoft.
Yeah,
but
that's it. Yeah, so we'll jump into games. Quick sticks here. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it has a wealth of games. It still does, like you said. Its games for me, its games have aged the best in comparison to PS2 and N64 games, and even into Xbox games and GameCube games. The Dreamcast, it was kind of in an in between. System anyways, but
really edgy, and you can get deeper into the games, but like one of the first games I played was Crazy Taxi, and I was just like, this is crazy. It's Crazy Taxi. But,
well, that's it. They had Marvel versus Capcom 2.
One of the best games. That's my favorite game on the system, and I still love it.
Power Stone. And Power Stone 2, which is one of those beat 'em ups that 3D world that there's not many games like it, or actually at all of it, right? So it back
Jet
to
Set
games, Jet Set Radio and or Jet Grind Radio. I always referred it to Jet Grind Radio, but I think it's Jet Set Radio.
I always called it Jet Set Radio, and then I think as I got older, I called it Jet Set Radio Grind, even though I was just mixing them. So, but
and that again, another game that it was the first game cel shaded It still looks good because of the cell shading. It aged decently well, controls okay for a 24-year-old, 25-year-old game. Um, I mean, to me, the biggest thing too is the sports games. To
Yeah,
the 2Ks,
they
NBA 2K, NHL, and NFL were completely different. They brought up, you know, uh, they just pushed it up a level for video games, sports games, or
there's
sports video games.
a space game I used to like playing. I just can't think the name of it right offhand. And it wasn't anything special, but to me it was great. And I just can't think of the name of the game now. But I never played a game kind of like that. I'm not thinking of Fantasy Star either. It was more like in
Ikaruga.
space game. No, that was more
Oh,
of a shooter game.
yeah, yeah.
This
I know which one you're
Armada, I
referring
think
to.
it was called.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So, but like
Um,
I was always into sci-fi, so that game kind of pulled me in. Fantasy Star is another one, but
yeah.
different point of view that way. But the light gun games, man, I used to have people come over and we'd have a party and we'd get out House of the Dead or Virtual Cop, and people were like, dude, this is like an arcade in here. And I'm like, no, it's a Dreamcast in here. So that was right around
um,
when we first met, to be honest.
yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
guess it would be true, eh? That would be
yeah.
true. Yeah, I mean, I used to play NFL 2K and NHL 2K. I keep going back to the sports games, but those, man, NHL 2K, you could knock the water bottle off the goalie's net. That was
That
like,
was like the
that was
details.
huge. Yeah. Like
Remember
little
Ready to
things.
Rumble?
Oh, Ready to Rumble boxing. Man,
That just came into my head.
that's a great, so Sonic Adventure, great
Mm-hmm.
game. Sonic Adventure 2 ever is still loved by people.
Soul Calibur.
Soul Calibur, for Sonic Adventure, it was one of the it ushered Sonic into the 3D world that Sonic is in now.
That's true.
I mean, you had other games like Sonic 3D Blast and stuff like that, but
Well, I was kind
they
of thinking
weren't the
what the
same.
Saturn might have had, but
Saturn had Sonic Jam,
mhm.
but that never came out. It was never huge on that front.
Quake,
I mean, say that again.
Quake.
Quake. Oh yeah, Quake
Uh,
3. Yeah. Unreal, like I said, Unreal Tournament was first on the Dreamcast for a console game. Um, Metropolis Street Racer. I always murder the name. It was a precursor to Bizarre. It was precursor to oh, it was the OG Xbox racing game,
Project
Phantom
Gotham? No, okay, I was
Project
going to
Gotham.
say.
Yeah, no,
It is
Project
Project Gotham?
Gotham.
I
Yeah,
didn't know
Bizarre
that.
Creations,
Huh.
who created Project Gotham, made Metro Street Racer,
No
which is
kidding, eh?
crazy. They pretty much took Metro Street Racer and put it into the Xbox. It's kind of what they did.
No
Um,
kidding, eh?
there's beautiful games that are still left on the Xbox, like Skies of Arcadia, or on the Xbox, on the Dreamcast, came out on the GameCube. Kind of a remake, remaster, I guess is what you want to call it at the time. Hasn't been out since then. So it's been over 20 years since the game sought
God,
after by many people and loved by people.
I want to get my
Um,
Dreamcast out now.
mine's still hooked up downstairs in the basement. I started playing Shenmue on the day.
Nice.
And
For me, it's
I
House
mean,
of the Dead. I want to play.
uh,
So
yeah,
I have to hook up it to one of my CRTs, and then but I have to drag it all out because I don't have a permanent setup like you do, like that.
yes, yeah, it's, I mean, I still have it up. I need to, gotta jump into a few other games too at the same time. Yeah, man. I mean, that's so we'll go to the most impactful game. Steve, what's your most impactful game on the Dreamcast for you?
Marvel vs. Capcom. Just I played the arcade, right? And so to see that on my TV at home and look as good as it did, it'd have to be that. And I know what you're gonna say. So
So actually,
take it
on
away.
that, Steve, Marvel versus Capcom remaster remake release is coming out later this year. and it's releasing all the Marvel vs. Capcom games and a few other
Hmm.
Marvel games. So just FYI.
Yeah.
Shenmue.
This is cool.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Shenmue. I mean, it was the most expensive game created at the time.
Have you seen my father?
It's one of the most
Those in
interactive
the know will
games.
get that.
One of the most interactive games at the time too. You could talk to everybody. You can pretty much walk into every shop. You could go wherever you wanted
You
in
play
the
a video
map.
game in a video game.
Yeah, you play video
That
game
blew
in a
me
video
away
game.
when I was playing it, and there's a console sitting there. I'm like, what the heck? I'm playing a console in a console.
The I've played it so many times, the original, and moved on to Shenmue 2 on the Xbox and Shenmue 3 on the PlayStation. Now, Shenmue 4 is what we need. Come on, you, before you pass away, you old bastard. Come on, Sega, don't be assholes. Get us Shenmue 4. Let's finish this off. Yeah, I mean, I love the game. I still have my original one.
Mhm.
I don't even know what to say. My brain's too full of love for that game that
Did you
heart's too full.
buy the specials on Xbox where they're like, might have been PS5? They're dirt cheap to get all three of them.
So I bought the remakes of Shenmue 1 and 2
Mm-hmm.
that they did on Xbox, and then I bought Shenmue 3 on PS4 when it came out.
Gotcha.
So I got a special edition, limited run, and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, everybody, if you loved your Dreamcast or wish you had a Dreamcast or
Let us
love
know.
Sega, let us know.
Man.
It's still it's always plugged in at my house, and we're willing to work with it. But yeah, Steve,
Before we go,
everybody,
I just got to do go ahead.
one
Quick shout out. On Marvel vs. Capcom, I had a colleague come to Ottawa a few weeks back, and we went to House of Targ. And I played it up that I've never played the game before, really. We got playing it, and he's trying to explain how to do things as I'm kicking his ass over. Wait, have you played this before? And then, yeah, I proceeded to... He won a round, but proceeded to kick his ass. And Scott, that was for you. I planned that one for a while. But, yeah, we should probably wrap it up. You were about to say, but
Yeah, well, actually, before I wrap it up, one game I know we kind of mentioned, but Soul Calibur. That's it. That's a big game that was out on the Dreamcast.
Yeah.
But that was one of the best fighting games. It's kind of fallen off the fighting game realm as of late, but yeah, Soul Calibur. Yeah, Steve, as always. Actually, everybody, thanks for tuning in. If you liked it, same thing as I said earlier. Click likes, leave us comments, all that good stuff. But yeah, Steve, as always,
Keep collecting.
keep gaming.
And keep safe.
Safe. Ding, ding.